To a related development, and on the battlefield, a Russian strike on a maternity hospital in Zaporozhye, Ukraine, has left at least 6 people injured, including 2 women who were being examined at the time. Governor Ivan Fedorov confirmed the attack, sharing a footage of shattered windows and rising smoke from the site on Telegram. This latest assault on civilian infrastructure comes as Russia continues its offensive in the southern region. Despite ongoing peace negotiations between Ukraine, the US and Russia, the incident underscores the ongoing dangers to civilians in conflict zones. Meanwhile, President Trump had announced a suspension of attacks in Kyiv until February the 11th, just ahead of the next cold snap. Next, we turn to West Asia, and tensions between the US and Iran are escalating, with Washington signaling that its patience is not infinite. US Ambassador to NATO, Matthew Whitaker, says the US President, Donald Trump, is giving Iran some time to step back from potential confrontation, but made it clear the president will not be forever patient. The remarks come as Iran's Supreme Leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, issued a strong warning against any US military action, saying it could spark a regional war. He also addressed recent anti-government protests, calling them akin to a coup, saying protesters attacked police, government offices and religious sites. Khamenei added that the coup was attempted quickly, but quickly suppressed, maintaining government stability. Joining us for this discussion once again is David K. Johnston, and Ali Mohammed Abushbek also joins us. He is a Middle East researcher. He joins us live from Cairo to discuss this. David, I want to come to you first. When Washington says its patience is not infinite, what specifically would trigger a US attack?
Well, if you see attacks, they're going to be air attacks. We're not going to launch a ground war. Iran has 1 million men who are or have been trained for military service. So that's the second is not going to happen. And all of this goes to Donald Trump's belief that he runs the whole world, which he himself has said. He is the all-powerful Donald Trump, and the failure of the American Congress to rein him in, since he has no authority to wage war. He can make defensive attacks if he believes U.S. military or civilian assets are under threat. He can respond immediately, but he's really trying to establish that he is the all-powerful dictator of the United States, and that's at the core of what's going on here. He needs to also distract people as best he can from all of the new things that have come out in the partial release of Epstein files that are very damaging to Trump and his friends. So the bellicosity involving Iran is a part of that, and it's tied up with larger issues. It's really awful for the whole world that we're not trying to have a rapprochement with Tehran. I mean, it is the most sophisticated country in the Middle East, highly educated, close to 100 million people. And the U.S. has just managed with incredible success. In 1954, when it overthrew the elected leader Mossadegh, I think it was 54, and after the Shah and his vicious reign came to an end, that we have driven the Tehran government away. Actually, in some ways, made them allies of Russia, at least on a transactional basis. It's just, Thomas, it's just a terrible, horrible outcome for the whole world.
Indeed. David, do stay with us. Ali, I want to go to you next. Thank you very much for joining us, first of all. Khamenei has called these protests a coup attempt after we've seen a reported 6,500 people dead now, with other human rights agencies reporting higher. Do you think this is a sign of regime confidence or insecurity?
Thank you, Thomas, for having me. The number is still up to now, it's not confirmed, because there is a a limitation, and there is a blackout, internet blackout, and there is a limitation for a human rights organization to work inside Tehran. And up to now, there is no confirmation about the exact number of the protesters who got killed. This is the method of Tehran and Iranian regime to accuse anything. I mean, in referred to any protest or anything as a conspiracy, as a United Nations and Mossad, Israeli Mossad, they are using people to create a chaos in Iran. This is a very old method that Iranian regime and Khamenei regime use it against us to make any people or to, make a fear among the people, because there is a restrict rule against anyone who's dealing with the intelligence service. Especially the Iranian enemy. So these things accusing the protester in Iran as a spy, or they are using, applying a foreign agenda against Iran. This is a very old method, and the Iranian proxy in the region, like Hezbollah, like any Houthi and Hamas in Gaza, they use the same method to accuse the protester. But here, the strong or the significant issue is not about the protest or the demand of the people, as civilians who are seeking for the, for enhance the economy and enhance the life, social life in Iran. The several things and the crucial things, it's about the rule the rule of Iran in the region, using the proxy against their enemy, like Israel, like America, like everything, and also threatening the Red Sea in the region. That's making Iran in a very embarrassing way, and in very crucial way that Iran is creating a several of issues. But
yes,
in my opinion, what's happening Iran now between a rock and a tough place. Either they will go through the negotiation with America, or they will lose they will lose everything. The strong card with it. Hezbollah have been demolished in Iraq, in Lebanon. Also, the Bashar al-Assad regime have been collapsed in Syria. Simultaneously, Hamas, Gaza, it's also deeply impacted and damaged during the war. So Iran now, without any proxy, without anyone to defend, and using its agenda in the region. So Iran now understand the hard lesson, especially after the American military operation in May, in June 2025, when they are bombing and attacking a nuclear facility. So this is the method also of Donald Trump pressurizing Iran and pressurizing the enemy under, the military pressure, making them accept anything. Yeah.
Ali, do stay with us, apologies. But David, I just want to come back to you finally. Of course, all of Donald Trump's efforts to create a board of peace to broker a ceasefire in Gaza, Khamenei here says that any US strike would spark a wider war, calling legitimate targets Israel as well as other US bases in the Middle Eastern region. Do you think Washington will accept that risk?
I don't know. Donald is so mercurial. The clear frontal lobe dementia that he's suffering from, that a number of psychiatrists and psychologists have talked about, makes it very hard to tell. Clearly, Trump is not hewing to what he promised voters, particularly his MAGA base. No more military entanglements overseas, no more long wars. We're going to walk away from that, and that's not what he's doing. And he's very subject to what was just said to him by the last person in the room, and he needs, and this is always important to keep in the forefront, he needs to distract people from the Epstein files. So I don't know, but if there's any military action by the US, it's going to be limited to drone strikes, maybe high altitude stealth bomber strikes. It's not going to be a ground assault. Trump has a small number of military ships and an aircraft carrier off the shore of Iran, but he does not have a large contingent of Marines with landing vehicles and tanks and all the other equipment you would need for launching a ground war, which he has no authority to do under the American Constitution. Not that Donald pays any attention to the limits on his presidential authority.
David K. Johnston, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Ali, do stay with us as we move on to another update from West Asia and the